Good morning and welcome to the Bible in 1 year. I am Leilani, and this week we are reading from the book of Leviticus. So you might ask yourself, what is the purpose of this book and how is it applicable to my life today? And I think when we ask this question, we will get an answer. How can a holy God have a close relationship with sinful mankind? And this question is answered in this book, where God instructs the nation on how to approach Him and to show that the way to God is through sacrifice. So, from chapter 1 till 7, we read about offerings and the types of offerings and the way that it should be conducted. And it shows me the heart of God. I'm so amazed to see that God's heart is just coming out through scripture when I read how He prepared a way for all people of different classes, if we can call it that, can have access to Him. You see, that time there were also high class, middle class, low class, if I read scripture right, because some people had many and some people had few. But God made a way for them all to bring an offering to Him. When we read in chapter 5, verse 7, it says that anyone who cannot afford a lamb is to bring 2 doves or 2 young pigeons. And when we read further on in verse 11, it says that if, however, they cannot afford 2 doves or 2 young pigeons, they are to bring as an offering for their sin a tenth of an ephah. I don't know how to pronounce that word, so I'm saying an ephah. But here we see that God made a way so that everyone can come to Him. God's attitude to man is that He wants fellowship with people. And the law was not given to keep mankind away from God. Instead, it was given to protect man and not to punish. It's all about our perspective and how we see it. Do we see it as punishment or being protected? And I want to say a statement with boldness, and that is that the sacrifice had to be perfect, but not the person bringing it. The thing that we can learn out of this few scriptures of offering is that God doesn't want perfect people. He didn't look for perfect people back then, and He's not looking for perfect people right now. But He does seek for a perfect offering, which in our time will look like total surrender. And total surrender meaning taking something to God, placing it at His feet. It means to leave it at His feet, offering it up, sacrificing it all, and not to retake it or take it up, but to give it and know that He is able. And there's a totally surrender and to completely trust and know that God is able. And the chapter that we are reading today, chapter 8, I'm astonished with this, that throughout this passage, we see a few times the significance of the number 7. For instance, in verse 11, he says that He sprinkled some of the oil on the altar 7 times. And then later he says, for your ordination will last 7 days. And then he said again, you must stay at the entrance of the tent of meeting day and night for 7 days and do what the Lord requires. There's a significance in the meaning of the number 7. The biblical meaning of number 7 is described as perfection, completion, healing, and fulfillment. See, I think that when we give a total surrender to God and we offer everything up, He promises healing and He promises completion, perfection, and the fulfillment of promises. So remember this today. that the sacrifice has to be perfect and not the person bringing it. It's all about total surrender, which means to completely trust and to know that God is able. May you have a blessed day.